Hello, and welcome to LTWS Backstage Chronicles, where we take you behind the scenes of the Little Theatre of Winston-Salem. I'm your host, Jessica Perry, and today we have something very exciting to share, our 91st season lineup. We've been hard at work curating a season filled with captivating stories, unforgettable characters, and show-stopping productions. In this bonus episode, we'll unveil the full 91st season, and we'll share insights into the selection process and give you a sneak peek at what's in store for our audiences. Whether you're a seasoned theater goer or new to Little Theater, you'll want to hear about these incredible plays, musicals, and spotlight productions we have planned. Make sure to subscribe to LTWS Backstage Chronicles, found on all major streaming platforms, so you never miss an announcement or behind-the-scenes feature. And if you enjoyed today's episode, please leave us a review and share with your friends. We love to hear your voice. Now, let's dive in. So welcome, everyone. It's nice to have you here. Today with me, I have our executive director, Joelle Irons, and our play reading chair, Sarah Jenkins, in the house with us today.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey, we're going to talk about our exciting season full of love and friendship. Mostly. We make it work.
Yeah.
We even figured out how to make Christmas Carol about love and friendship. I think we're good.
Yes. Well, Christmas Carol, I think we can make it work.
Yeah.
For just about anything.
Yeah.
That's well, yeah.
So who wants to begin? Let's start with our first show of the 91st season. I am really excited about this one. I've always been a fan of Sherlock Holmes. No, it is not Sherlock Holmes' play himself. It is an second adaptation by Ken Ludwig. It is Moriarty. Thank you.
Yeah, Moriarty by Ken Ludwig.
I'm getting tongue-tied today.
It's all good. So similar to Baskerville, that was his other Sherlock adaptation. This one it's got Irene Adler, so it's more of a romance for Sherlock, but it's the same small ensemble company playing a bunch of parts. This one has a touch of melodrama, but it's got Sherlock's nemesis, Moriarty, hence the title. And it's, if you know A Scandal in Bohemia, some of it is that story worked into the plot, along with Reichenbach Fall and several others.
So it's a little bit different from Baskerville in the sense that it's more melodramatic in the way it was written.
I mean, it's still a comedy, but because it has a romance element, and Ludwig said in his author's foreword that whereas he did sort of the mystery comedy with Baskerville, because it's such a self-contained story, with this one he decided to play up the romance and the melodrama of some of these Sherlock Holmes tales.
Nice. So let's talk about our first musical of the season. Joelle, would you like to share that?
Sister Act, the musical, which does not have Whoopi Goldberg in it for us, unfortunately.
However,
but will still be fun and loving.
If Whoopi wants to come out for the show,
yes,
you know where to find us.
Whoopi, where you heard it here first.
Definitely reprise the role. That would be wonderful. That one's going to be really fun. Alan Menken wrote the music for that. I'm a big fan of Alan Menken.
So if you liked Little Shop, same guy, and a lot of Disney work as well. And this is also, it's a big cast, lots of great roles for women of all ages. R.I.P. Maggie Smith, but if she can't come audition, but you could come audition to play the Mother Superior. Fun story, I actually worked in a restaurant with Patina Miller, who played Dolores Van Cartier on Broadway and in London. She was a hostess at a restaurant I worked in for a while, and now she's a multiple Tony winner. So
you knew her when?
Yes.
Gonna get her start somewhere, right? Well, we're moving on to the third show of our 91st season, which is A Christmas Carol, coming back again to bring you love, some laughter, some tears, some ghosts.
Just a couple.
Just all of it. And fan favorite, coming back again to put you in the holiday spirit. And
so to speak.
So I'm just going to move through, kind of talking about these shows, and then we can go back and we talk about what we're most excited about, what we think others will be most excited about. and a little bit about, what goes into selecting the shows for a season. And so our February show in the new season will be Clydes by Lynn Nottage. This one is a very lively written play. It's set in a diner in Pittsburgh that is owned and managed by an ex-con that provide work to ex-cons, and it's just kind of talking about their story. Goes with a lot of philosophy into this and what it takes for, starting a new life.
And to make the perfect sandwich.
The perfect sandwich, yes. So all the troubles in the world can go away and you just focus on making the perfect sandwich.
It's a beautiful story of just people coming together and helping each other out of a situation where it's just bad and just helping them be better people. I liked it a lot. It was so powerful.
Yeah, and finding community.
Yes.
Yes. And moving on to our next show. Yes, it is The Book of Will by Lauren Gunderson. So if you are a Shakespeare fan, you will enjoy this play. It is very well written. It is one of those stories that just kind of punches you in the heart out of nowhere.
A few times.
But not in a bad way.
No, in a very moving way, really and truly. It's the story of... based on the historical events of Shakespeare's friends who come together to put his works all together in one folio.
Yeah, so the reason we have them.
The reason we have them, yes. So it's kind of their story, and we can give them thanks by coming to see the show. And thank you for saving these works for us.
It's a great story of just friends honoring their fallen friend and how they can make sure his work and just be remembered forever. That's what I really loved about it. And the part punching in the heart. I like that.
Yeah.
And then our final show of the 91st season is going to be The Mystery of Edwin Drood. That one I'm very, very interested in. If you liked coming and seeing And Then There Were None and getting to select the ending of the show, well, then you're in luck, because The Mystery of Edwin Drood gives you that opportunity to choose your own ending, but not from a selection of just one alternate ending. I believe it was upwards of 8 alternate endings.
There's you get to choose the murderer, you get to choose who is the there's a disguised detective, and then there's also a romance to end the show. So you get to choose which 2 characters fall in love and give the show its happy ending. It's sort of meta-theatrical. So I feel like it's sort of if The Drowsy Chaperone and A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder had a baby. It's got the sort of play within the play, and also has that British music hall sort of characters playing characters quality to it. So it's very fun. And yeah, the audience getting to vote for it's not audience participation in the sense that you will be called onto the stage. Let me clarify, because I know that would make some people stay away. It's just you get to raise your hand and vote, and then the actors have to jump into gear and sing the song if they get picked. So they have to be ready to go.
So I know there's some actors that would probably love that opportunity to do that, and some that would be afraid of doing that. Like, I know that you're also an actor yourself. Is that one of those things where you're like, ooh, I want the chance to
I think it would be fun.
do that on the
fly?
fly?
A fun challenge.
It does seem like a lot of fun. And it's based off of the Charles Dickens
final unfinished work by Charles Dickens. That's why it's a mystery. The place in the play where maybe Edwin Drood dies, maybe he disappears. Basically, the playwright finished it and then gave the audience the options because it was an unfinished work, and Dickens died without leaving any clues as to what Drood's fate was. So they kind of made that part of the plot, which is fun.
Well, those are our 6 main stage productions for the 91st season. We have our Spotlight series, which is going to be a spotlight on Pride for the 91st season. And our first show of the Spotlight series would be The Cake. You want to tell us a little bit about that, Joelle?
The Cake takes place right here in Winston-Salem, and it's about a woman who comes home to get married, and she visits her mother's best friend who owns a bakery, and that woman is all about making her the wedding cake. She's so excited because she basically raised this girl. And then the woman's fiance walks in, who happens to be a black woman. And suddenly this baker just can't. She can't make the cake. She's too booked that month. It's not going to happen. And it's about finding your own identity, finding out who you are, and sticking with your beliefs, but also maybe making some concessions for those you love. And it talks about Winston-Salem, like Ronaldo House.
Yeah.
And it's really fun. And it's funny as well. It's not even a drama. It's some really hilarious,
wacky,
weird
wild
moments.
comedy.
Yeah.
And it's local playwright Becca Brunstetter, who, if you like This Is Us, she was one of the writers for that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. No. I mean, I knew she was a local Winston-Salem author. I didn't know that she had written This Is Us or written on that show. Oh, wow. You learn something new every day. So rounding out our season with our second Spotlight Series show is Perfect Arrangement. And I'm going to turn it over to you again, Joelle.
Perfect Arrangement is a hilarious farce that is gay. That's what I've been telling everybody. Takes place in the 1950s in D.C., and there are these two couples who've married each other's partners so that they can present as two heterosexual marriages. And they have adjoining houses, and they just go back and forth between the closet. And then since it's the 1950s and they work in government, it's that era when they were hunting down all the communists, but now they're also looking for the sexual deviants who were anyone who was gay at the time. So they have to figure out where they fit in that. Who will they be? Will they tell the truth of themselves? And there's a bunch of just farce-like shenanigans. They have to paint the kitchen.
Little Theater loves a good farce.
We are all about a farce. We've been doing farces since our third show was a farce. So it's a staple.
Well, there you have it. That's our 91st season. So this is a season of love and friendship. And some of the shows, it's pretty obvious where love and friendship come into play. Some of it's not so much. The only one I'm thinking of is Edwin Drood. I'm sure that there's moments of friendship and love.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's literally a song that's like two kinsmen, and it's the protagonist and his uncle, and there's romance. There's the typical, it's because, Dickens always has his great names. Rosa Budd is Edwin Drood's fiance, and there's a lot of romantic entanglements. And so I would say it fits.
So
just with a mystery.
Do we have a show that we're most excited for, personally?
I'm very excited for The Book of Will. Lauren Gunderson is an amazing playwright. She's actually the most produced playwright in the country. She's never been on Broadway, but she gets produced regionally, professionally, community theaters, everywhere. And she writes a lot of plays with historic context, but puts them in a really fresh, funny, interesting way of writing about them. And so I'm really looking forward to this one. And if you liked like Shakespeare in Love, it almost feels kind of like picking up where that left off or something. It's got that kind of energy of, taking real historical people and fleshing out what it might have been like to exist then, to take on the challenge of creating the first folio, which really is kind of a miracle that it happened at all. I'm also excited about Edwin Drood. I saw that at School of the Arts like 12 years ago, and it was terrific. I think that's the only time it's been done around here in this area, and it's been quite a while since then. So I'm excited for us to take a crack at it.
Yeah, Drood is one of the ones I'm excited about. It's a challenging show, so I think that's why a lot of community theaters won't do it, because, all the actors need to know all these songs they may or may not sing. And that's a lot of work. We had to do that And Then There Were None. We had to tell the actors, all right, you need to learn 2 endings, and at some point we'll tell you which ending you're going to do. And that was hard. I'm really excited about Clyde's, because it's such a different show for us, and it has so much powerful meaning behind it, and is, of course, very entertaining as well. And who doesn't like a good sandwich? But it's really a good direction for Little Theater. So it's very exciting. And Moriarty, just because I love Ken Ludwig.
It's really difficult to pick which show I'm most excited about for next season. Clyde's is definitely up there for me, is one of the ones I'm most excited about. Just real salt of the earth people, just just trying to find themselves and their lives post, the mistakes they made and trying to define themselves and realize they're not those mistakes anymore, all while making the perfect sandwich. But the Book of Will, I'm also really excited about as well. Bring your tissues to that one. I will say that play had me sobbing in the middle of reading it. It's one of those things, like I said, it punches you in the heart. And I'm sitting there in the middle of reading and I'm like, wait, what? Wait, huh? What? No. And I'm just like sobbing and crying. I'm like, oh my God, okay. Oh. So it'll make you laugh. It'll make you cry. I love the nod. I don't know if I should say this. Well, I love the nod to Shakespeare's clowns in the script as well. Because Shakespeare and all of his tragedies, he likes to have like a little bit of comedic relief that he brings to his shows, and you get that. You get those moments. You're like, so if you're in the moment of sobbing, don't worry. It'll lighten up in just a minute. The humor is coming, and it's wonderfully written. It's just such a beautifully written script, and along with Clyde's, which was also really, really beautifully written. And I'm a big Shakespeare fan as well. And again, also Moriarty. See, I can't really pick.
It is a season where, I'm excited about all the shows.
I'm excited for it as a whole. Yeah. Like it's they're all new to Little Theater. None of them have been done by Little Theater before. And most of them haven't been done in Winston-Salem. Some of them have, but by and large, they're all new to actors and audiences here. So it's kind of exciting to have some unknown quantities, some surprises.
Is it Sister Act the oldest?
Or Drood?
Drood is the oldest.
Yeah.
And that was
80s.
The 80s. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. I always think of the 12, but
because it was revived in 2012 with like Jesse Mueller from Waitress and a bunch of other awesome people, Cheetah Rivera.
Yes, really big Broadway names. Well, I mean, a season of love and friendship. I think that's what we need coming out of our season of murders is a season of love and friendship.
I mean, we love a murder, but, we love a good love story, too.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't completely keep away the murder in this season.
Oh, yeah, no. The first show has a murder right off, so... Yeah, you can't do theater without some murder.
Yeah, come on.
Well, I mean, can you have Shakespeare or Moriarty without a little bit of murder?
Or Dickens.
A soup salt of murder.
So I wanted to talk a little bit about what the process is like picking shows. So you're the play reading chair, and the chair runs the play reading committee that is made up of some board members and other members of our community.
Yes.
That help come together and select the shows. What's that like?
I mean, it's challenging. You're trying to find things that will appeal to audiences and also actors, and that will, because as an actor and an audience member, like I want something that's interesting, but I know that we want something that like suits our mission, suits our theme for the season, which sort of sometimes will start to coalesce as we pick the shows. But people come in with a lot of ideas, and we'll kind of just put everything on a list, and then we just start winnowing it down, narrowing down what shows are available. That's a thing. We had several shows we applied for rights for, and they weren't available yet, or they were being done on tour, so we couldn't do them or anything like that. So that's a factor as well. It's not just what you want to do; it's what you can do. And striking a balance as far as actors, you want to have shows that have opportunities for men and women and people of all ages, and there's a lot of little ingredients that go into it.
Yeah, it sounds like 6 shows. That's a lot. You have to pick 6, and then suddenly it's only 6.
Yeah,
and fit all of that into.
And it can really matter. Like you'll have 5 that are great, and then there's one that you like, but it doesn't quite fit. You don't want to have too many things on the same theme, or a bunch of shows that have all men or all one all set in one place. Like you really have to try to mix it up to keep people's interest and give some variety. And also we're trying to, keep pushing forward and not do just the same old everything. I mean, it's exciting to have some newer plays like Clyde's or like Book of Will that we think will be really appealing and interesting to our audiences, but that haven't been done to death. So that's a factor as well. Or if things have been done either by us in the recent past or other community theaters recently, or that they have planned coming. So that there's just so many factors that you have to put together. Plus you have multiple people reading plays and everyone has different opinions. There are plays in the committee that everybody really loved, and there's some that some people loved and some people hated, and some that people felt indifferent to, so you're trying to, you want to take everyone in the group, take their opinions into consideration, and also weigh the plays against each other. Like what it's just a complicated it's an art, not a science, I guess, to come up with the season in a committee.
Pretty much. It's a lot of talking about ideas and coming up with ideas of different shows. And the committee people who come in with all this play knowledge are great, because there are so many plays being written all the time and produced everywhere. Just, you can't read them all. You just can't.
Just coming up with new appealing ideas.
Exactly. And that we only do 2 musicals a year. I find those almost harder to pick, because they have to be.
You got to calibrate it just right.
Yeah, exactly. We can't be too big. They can't be too small. They need to be known, but maybe not overdone. It's the Goldilocks problem. Just right.
Yeah, exactly. That's a very good way to put it.
So we all know that there's a ton of theater communities here that exist in the Triad. How does that play a part in selecting shows?
I mean, you don't want to do something that was just done. You don't want to overlap. You want to try to give people something different, but also there's, you have folks who will go to 1 or 2 of the theaters, but not then 3 and 4. And some people go to all of them. They'll go to Greensboro. They'll go to Yadkinville. They go to KLT and stuff in Winston. So, and then some people really have their one theater that they go to. So you have to take into account what's been done recently or soon, but you can't always, if something was being done in Greensboro, for instance, we're more likely to consider it, to do it soon, as opposed to something that's being done across town, because you don't want to flood the market.
Right.
But it does make it challenging, especially because a lot of shows, especially musicals, the rights don't get released as quickly as they used to. Things go on tour for months and years. And so
Decades.
Yeah, decades. Yeah, there's some shows that we'd love to do, and but the rights are owned by a company, but they haven't been released yet because the show is still on tour. And so that's tricky, because it means there's sort of a finite number of shows that you even can do at a point until they release the rights to new ones.
Yeah, the musical situation is an odd thing that's still left over from COVID that I don't think any of us saw coming until we're here, that everything shut down and then everything went on tour, and then it kept touring and touring and touring, because touring is the only thing that's come back stronger post-COVID in the theater world. And every time they announce a new tour, you're like, oh man, now it's never going to get released. We're never going to get to do that show. So yeah, we're stuck with doing the shows that are
available.
They're done.
Yeah.
They've been done. You've done that one. I know we've done that one, but
I think a lot of people don't know that, though. That
yeah,
that's why I wanted to
the
say. The
selection is so limited that we actually get to choose from. It's not every musical that's ever been written. Yeah. It's a small selection that's available, that's not on tour, that hasn't been done very recently. And once you take out a lot of the, technically, can we do it? Like actors, do we have the actors to do it? And then once you get down to that, you're like, okay, we have these couple of shows to choose from.
Yeah, and so with that, picking the ones that are ones we want to do, that fit, that we think will appeal to the audiences, that creates an extra layer of challenge.
And appeal to the actors too.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
That's, I mean, as
That's our
theater,
community.
that's really important to us too. And I
Exactly.
think they'll want Sister Act and Drood are both ones that aren't done so often, so it'll definitely be a draw. Once people hear that, there'll be
Yes.
gasps tomorrow.
I'm quite excited to see the reactions to the season, because again, I feel like it's a very exciting season and interesting. So I'm looking forward to the takeaway, like what folks who haven't been buried in it for months, like what they're like I'm so close to it at this point. But what the reactions are in the broader theater community, and especially among actors, because I'm going to be curious to see who is really wanting to do what, who's excited about which show.
I think this is going to be a fun season, not only just for patrons to get to see these wonderful stories, but also for actors as well. So sometimes it's like, oh, this is going to be a great show for people to watch, or, oh, this is going to be the one that people want to go audition for. But I feel like we got a little bit of both in this season. People are going to really enjoy watching it. And I feel like the actors are going to have a lot of fun with these selection of shows.
Win-win-win. It's like when the actors really want to audition for it, then you get a bigger turnout, and then you get a better show because you have more people for the director to choose from, and they can really fine-tune their cast. And I think it builds on itself to create a better product.
Yeah, and the more fun the actors are having, the more fun the audience will have, and the more fun the audience will have, then right back to the more fun the actors are going to have.
Yeah, they do feed each other like that. And then the audience tells their friends, and then we have even more people coming and seeing the shows, which is, yes.
And we were talking about some challenges in picking this season, and we talk about all the different factors. And we were talking about, so we don't necessarily talk about, but we talk about the technical elements of shows and things like that too. I know sets will sometimes come into play when selecting a show.
Yes, absolutely.
We're very fortunate to have Tab May as our technical director, who has done amazing things.
But we also don't want to impose on their goodwill and burn them out.
So yeah, I'm really excited about this season coming up and all the things that we have going on in the season of love and friendship. I feel like, as I said before, that is something that we really need.
Yes.
It's this year especially, and I think it's going to be quite an amazing season. I'm hoping that we'll have a lot of turnout for actors and auditioning. I think it's going to be a great time. Is there anything, Joelle, you'd like to add about this season in particular? Anything you want people to know?
I mean, we've already said it. It's going to be great. It's going to be uplifting. You're going to come away from the theater feeling better than you came in.
Yes.
And I think that's, like you said, what we all really want right now.
Yeah, laughing, smiling, thinking.
Feeling all the
feeling
feelings.
positive, yeah.
And when you feel even those heavier feelings together as a group, it's better than doing it by yourself.
Yeah.
These are shows that'll get you talking. I really feel like that. They keep you talking long after the show is over. And that's what I'm really excited about these stories, is because they are stories that'll make you think. They'll make you ask questions. They'll make you feel things. I think it's a good thing to feel things. That's what theater's all about, is compelling you to feel. And I'm just really excited about this season overall. Is there anything you'd like to add, Sarah?
I mean, again, I think we've covered it, but I hope people will, if you see some of these plays and they're new to you, I hope you will listen to what we said here and give them a try. Come in preparing to be a little surprised and not know everything that's about to happen on stage.
One thing I forgot to ask,
yes.
and I'm going to ask this real quick. Play reading, like, what they don't realize is, when does that really start? When do you begin setting up for the next season?
This one, we started back in the early fall, I guess, or end of summer, because we were trying to
September.
Yeah, because we tried to have enough things ready that because the board has to vote to approve the proposed season, so we were trying to have that done in November. So, yeah,
because it can take up to 6 weeks for the rights to be approved to a show. So we
yeah,
need
you
that
gotta
big,
give a
huge
cushion
buffer of time. which is kind of hard because sometimes you get the rights really quickly and then someone else announces that they're going to do it. And you're like, well, back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
Pivot.
That's a real bummer.
Pivot. I just imagine Ross from Friends going, pivot.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Pivot.
Well, pirouette, I think is what we decided.
Yes,
were doing
we
this
in the
Let's just do a
theater.
nice little pirouette.
turn around.
That can also, prove some challenges as well. But it's getting the shows approved and then taking about 6 weeks to get the rights back and trying to get it out at a certain date. You have to factor in that time frame.
And you have to give people time to read the plays too, or at least give them a good, good look, a good consideration, or a listen if they're for the musicals. If they're going to get a soundtrack, like you got to give people actually time to absorb what you come up with or to find scripts. I definitely had to order some. Luckily, a member of our committee had a number of the scripts, so then I had to get them scanned so everybody could look at it. But that all takes time. So you gotta leave that cushion of time.
And then sometimes the rights take even longer to get back, and
we need all that time also for our Britt Canino to design our logos.
Yes, thank you, Britt.
She did a great job of it. You wait till you see it.
oh, can't wait.
They're so pretty. And of course, Jessica to put the brochure together and lose sleep over it like she does every year. But that's part of the process.
It's all worth it. It's all worth it to see all of your smiling faces. Well, I think we covered everything that we could possibly think to cover, gave you an exciting lineup of shows. We're really excited about it. I hope that you're really excited about it too. And get your season passes. Join it, be a part, reserve your seats, be ahead of the rush, get the perfect seats, do whatever you need to do. Call us at the box office. You can reach us at 336-725-4001. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 12 to 4. Give our patron service manager, Abby, a ring. She'd be happy to set you up with that. And if there's nothing else, that's all for today's bonus episode of LTWS Backstage Chronicles. We hope you're as excited about this as we are, and we can't wait to have you join us for this next season. Do not forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and share this podcast with your friends. You can find LTWS Backstage Chronicles on all major platforms and visit our website at www.ltofws.org for more details. Join us next time for even more behind-the-scenes stories and exclusive interviews. Until then, I'm Jessica Perry, and thanks for joining us here at the Little Theatre of Winston-Salem. A special thanks to Such and Such Media, our 90th season media sponsor. If you've ever thought about starting your own podcast, let Such and Such Media take care of it for you. See you at the theater. The views and opinions of this podcast are those of the contributor and not necessarily those of our distributors and hosting company. This podcast is copyrighted. Use of this podcast without express permission may result in alien blood-sucking plants taking over the world. You have been warned.